Hello, everyone. How you doing? My name is Sharon Combs with Knowledge or Nonsense and UCDI Leadership. And tonight I am joined by quite a few individuals. And we are just going to talk about the pandemic and moving forward, like how people navigated some of the things within the pandemic. And so, how's everyone doing tonight?
Great.
Great. We have Dee with us. Dee is an instructor for SIPS Consults, and she actually teaches a sterilization course. I believe you teach a course and you have some partnerships with local facilities.
Correct.
Well. So you help people get their clinical hours, things like that.
Yes, exactly.
And so these are some of the students, various students with various levels of experience, some brand new, some traveling, some just actually in the middle of exactly brand new and moving forward. And so I'm really glad y'all are with me tonight. And let's jump right in. Dee, before I start asking any questions, have you anything you'd like to share?
Just thank you guys for joining me tonight. And thank you for taking our class, so we wouldn't even be here tonight. Thank you, Sharon, for allowing us to come on and share our story and talk a little bit about what is going on.
All right. Excellent. So one of the things I wanted to ask in this dedication in December, we had New in November where we talked about some of the products, some of the regulatory changes within the sterilization field. You guys know we had a book come out about the pandemic where some of the past presidents of ISHM, myself, business owners and educators from the East Coast, we got together and we penned that book. And so here we have dedication in December where we're actually just pinpointing and highlighting people that did things that we think are pretty cool. And so with that being said, I wanted to ask you guys, how did you find out about sterile processing? Like prior to going to SIPS program, did anyone know what sterile processing was?
Honestly,
anyone?
I didn't.
You didn't?
I just started doing research. I just started doing some research to see what was going to be something that would be a viable career, for the next 5 or 10 years. And this is kind of a broad, wide open field that looked like it was on the way up and looked like it had a lot of potential. And so I did a little research into it, and I ran across the SIPS program, and fortunately I encountered Dee, and it's been a real positive thing for me. I do a medical background, but it's not in sterile processing.
All right, good. Most people, before I worked, I knew a little bit because I knew someone who worked in sterile processing. But if I didn't know them, I would have never. I was like, what? What is it? Where is it? And so, Dwylene, you didn't either? You knew nothing about sterile processing?
I know a little bit about it, but I didn't know much about it. But I had seen it, and then I had seen the ad several times on Facebook. And so, encountering the ad, I just kind of did a little research myself and said, okay, hey, this is a good thing that you could do that pays pretty decent, and you don't take a lot of time to get to where you're trying to get to. So, go ahead and do it.
All right, I'm gonna dig in a little bit right there, Dwylene. Oh yeah, it's on. You ready? So you hadn't heard of it. You saw an ad on Facebook and you did some research and then decided, okay, this may be something I'm interested in. What are some of the things, if any, what were some of the thoughts that you had that may have tried to deter or detract you from moving forward with the program?
I guess basically, really the financial part of it, because I really wasn't sure if we would be able to afford for me to stop, working and then go to school to try to do the class. So it was more financial, but everything seemed to work out and doors just open and they're steady opening. So I'm grateful.
All right. And so you have finished the class, correct?
September 12th.
September 12th. And although
it's been hard to get into do my clinicals, but I've been given an opportunity of a lifetime. So I'm excited about that. I'm being able to do the travel part. So
Yes, and a lot of people have to wait.
Yeah.
Right.
They have to wait a
Okay,
little bit before
some
they.
doors been open, and those doors.
Yeah.
Some great doors open, and I'm very appreciative of it, and I can't wait to start.
All right. So for those of you who are out there in sterile processing land, and for those of you who are not in sterile processing, the reason I just went in a little bit there is sometimes you don't even know what other doors are going to open. There's always a
Right.
reason to do something, and there's always going to be somebody in your ear telling you, yeah, yeah, yeah. There's always a him haw. Don't hate the him haw, but just recognize that the him haw doesn't have to be your story. Your story can
Exactly.
be better. Your
Exactly.
story can change. How about you, Shannon?
Sharon. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I see the finger. I honor the
No,
finger.
I was Dwalene, listening to Dwalene, because that's my story. I knew nothing about sterile processing. 5 years ago, I knew nothing about sterile processing. So to even be the educator today has been a miracle because I was the manager of people that worked in sterile processing but didn't even know the ins and outs of sterile processing. Like so many companies, you call the shots and you don't even know what people are doing. And
Right.
I decided to take this course one day to find out just more about sterile processing. Little did I know, our instructor left right at the end of my course. The instructor left and moved back to Chicago. And the boss, the owner of the company comes to me and says, hello, you're now certified. You're the instructor. So if you can imagine how I felt, and Shannon, I'm saying this because Shannon was one of my early classes. I think he was class number 2 or 3, but he was early in there. And I literally would sit in class every week praying that I'm giving these people the right answer. And I must have read that book 1,000 times. So before every class, I'm studying to make sure that I can answer their questions and I know what I'm talking about. But now, what, 2.5 years down the road, here we go. And the Dwalene, Chris, I think Avery was about 3 classes ago. They literally, Chris just finished last week.
Wow.
So we're still going strong, and I'm so grateful. But that's part of your because when they approached me, I'm like, I can't teach this class. And it would have stopped right then because nobody was really looking for another instructor. But I'm glad I prayed my way through it and read. Now you can have back. Shannon, take the floor.
Well, you did good, cause I learned a lot. I passed my tests and did my clinicals. Ended up getting a job. I've been in about a year now, so everything's
Wow.
going good. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. And can I brag on Shannon? Shannon literally took his test, what, one day
Oh
after
yeah,
you
I took it
finished?
like it was like 2 days later. I took it.
2
Yeah.
days after the class ended, Shannon took his test and passed it straight away.
But
Good
we just
job.
COVID wasn't out there, so you can't blame us for that.
That's true.
That's for
COVID has
sure.
stopped a lot of stuff.
COVID
I'll
went out,
agree.
so you was able to move out and have fun. But we coming behind you. We coming for you.
Okay.
They on your tail. They on your tail. All right, D. So Shannon, you didn't know what sterile processing was either?
No, I didn't. I was like, I had did like corporate America for like 8 years, and then I just decided, I'm ready to do something different. And I found an article online. I was actually trying to find it, for this to bring it up, but I couldn't find it. And it was like just talking about if you in your current career and you want to do this, this, and this, then maybe you should look into sterile processing, and that's what
Mm.
brought me to doing it.
Okay, so how was anyone overwhelmed the first day?
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm overwhelmed. I was
Absolutely.
overwhelmed the first day of my travel assignment, but the first day, like doing my volunteer hours and stuff like that, everybody was really nice and helped me out a lot. So I wasn't really overwhelmed. But then traveling to somewhere completely new in a completely different hospital, it's a different experience of like, okay, what do they do here? Like, how am I going to do this? Everybody's procedures are different. So that part was a little overwhelming.
I can imagine.
What are some of the benefits you guys think on this side? on this side of you deciding, because again, we're all adults. And so what are some of the benefits of making, is benefit the right word that I'm looking for? What are some of the pluses to the fact that you made that decision? What are some of the things that you're like, yeah, I'm glad I did that because of this? Do you have any?
For me, it was like low tuition, low time in school. You don't have a lot of time because I'm got old, so I don't have a lot of time. My brain don't function as well as it used to, and so I was like, okay, what can I do that's gonna make me decent money? That's that I don't have to, pay a whole lot to get what I need to get done, and that's how I end up deciding, okay, because at first I wanted to do the CNA. But then I was like, no, I can't do the CNA because the people, they was like, no, that's not a profitable career. So I was like, okay, let's go back and revamp it. So I went back to the table again and kind of drew a couple of plans because I was once in nursing school, but then my mom got sick and died. So that kind of went out the window for me. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I done got older. Now you got to figure out what you want to do that's going to be able to maintain for your family. And I have a 17-year-old that think the sun and the moon and the stars rise on her. No, you cannot give me the camera. Everybody. So
okay, that is a 17-year-old. That is
a 17-year-old. Exactly. She plays ball, so she won't be able to support herself like most people in college. So I'm gonna have to do it, and this will be the first time for me doing it because everybody else, I was just like, oh, y'all gonna pay for that if you want to go, but I'm gonna actually do it because she, she's pretty good. She has basketball, so. She did everything she needed to do, so I'm going to help her out.
Good. Nice. Okay, so let me ask some of these questions. I'm going to start picking some names. How did you guys handle the pandemic? Not personally, but I know the class, like you went to the class, it was on site, correct?
Shannon went on site. We were literally in a classroom, and Avery was on site. And I think we shut down the class after Avery when it really hit. And so Dwalene and Chris have only known online classes. So I can tell you, for me, it was a big change because I can no longer let's go to the lab. Let's do this hands-on. So now I'm online trying to show them how to wrap a tray using a towel from my house and putting it in the video. Can you see this? So it's been a lot of changes going from classroom setting to online for me personally.
How did you guys stay? Chris, Dwalene, Avery, Shannon, all of you, how did you stay engaged? Like, how did you keep your forward momentum when everything else was everything, a lot of things were uncertain and topsy-turvy and in the middle of change? Like, how did you hold your form and stay focused and keep doing what you're doing?
As far as this class is concerned?
The class and life, if you want.
Oh, I personally have just, it just kind of shut down, and we just kind of stayed in our bubble here with my family, my kids, and we just kind of stayed in, and I have an elderly mom, and so we just kind of tried to stay and protect her and do what we could do, and we really just kind of didn't do a whole lot of anything. And so it's been an interesting year here in our family because we've just tried to stay healthy.
Okay, so that gave you something. So you used your time wisely, though. You stayed healthy and you got training.
We did. Yeah, and when this actually was wonderful for me, whenever I found the class, I was ready for something to stimulate me mentally, besides watching Wheel of Fortune, every morning. I mean, every evening. And so I really was, I'm not a big TV watcher anyway, but, when it's just crazy. But yeah, I was ready. I was ready for this class, and did a lot of reading throughout the course of the year. And so it was a real growth year for me as much as anything else. Doing, like I said, a lot of reading, things that I haven't had time to do. And then this class came along, and it was a good challenge for me. And I absolutely enjoyed it. Dee was wonderful, and she made it real and pretty exciting. And it was a challenge for me because it was something totally off my radar. So I really did enjoy learning everything I learned. I'm looking forward to the next phase, actually getting to put it into practicality.
Right.
Yes.
Karen, you asked a question about being overwhelmed. Chris was the one who said, "Oh my God, this is a lot. It's a lot going on. A lot of information, a lot of reading. In 10 weeks, you're expected to know all of this."
It is.
It was a lot. It was a lot.
When
But it was good. I mean, it was a good
explain to people,
challenge.
it's so many instruments, and then you have to know these different temperatures to think about the viruses, the medical terminology, and people like that's why when sometimes people are like, long time ago there was a stigma or whatever with sterile processing, and people are like, oh, just anybody, and I'm like, no, anybody can't. That's why people have so many infections. Anybody can.
Right,
There's a lot of information in here, and
right,
it's high pace. It's detail
right.
oriented and high paced at the same time. So no, I don't
Yes,
know except applied sterile processing.
yes.
Avery, how about you? Like the pandemic came, boom.
So I had did my certification or took my test in January. I was still working my full-time job and planning to do my volunteer hours soon, and then COVID hit and I couldn't find anywhere to volunteer after I quit my job. So that was kind of like, okay, you definitely need to be doing something that kind of guarantees your future or that you feel like will always be there. So I feel like that kind of helped me just move forward. Like, okay, this is an opportunity where, every hospital needs sterile processing. So that's a field that's going to be there no matter what. People are unfortunately going to continue to be sick, continue to need surgeries, continue to be in the hospital. So you need to basically find something that ensures your longevity in whatever career that you choose. So that kind of helps me like move forward and continue to, do what I do.
And sterile processing is a good field for growth. It really is.
Definitely.
It's a good field for growth, regardless. If you get in and you work and you don't stagnate, you can do whatever you want to do with it. And maybe you want to stagnate. Maybe you just want to do one thing. You can do that as well. Shannon, how is it? Okay, I want to ask this question. Shannon, you've been doing it for about a year. Avery, I know you've been traveling for a short period of time. What are some of the challenges you guys have seen thus far?
I mean, when I first started, my main challenges was like, how am I going to learn all this stuff? Like, I remember my first day, like pulling the case card, I was like, how am I going to learn where all this stuff is at? But then after a while, I mean, it just became second nature. So yeah.
Like I said earlier, for like the challenges as far as just traveling or working at different hospitals, it's just the difference in how everybody does things.
Yeah.
Just like any job, you just have to get used to what that job wants you to do or how they want to run their department. So that's like the main thing for me.
Mm-hmm. And I give them all a round of applause because it's one thing to sit in a classroom and learn the book knowledge to pass the test. And then the next step is you're thrown into a hospital and you have to now do it manifests. You have to now do everything. So even a year down the road, Shannon, I find that amazing, especially like I said, when he was one of the first classes. And then for the online classes, the pandemic shut us down. We had hospitals wide open. Send the text to us. And then it was like, no text. So now I'm like, wait, we're still doing classes. Where are we going to put these people? So that became a real struggle. And, since we're online, we have people all over the United States and in New York. It was terrible. Hospitals were shutting down left and right on us. Nope, can't take them, can't take them. So for me, it was like, oh my goodness, I don't need these people calling me, you stole my money. So that was the reality of this whole virus for me. It's like, you don't want to stop class in the middle of class. So we still got to finish, but thankfully, slowly, more and more hospitals it's still nothing like it was. But slowly, I see them opening back up. So even for Chris and Dwalene, getting the chance to travel is an amazing thing for brand new students. But
Yeah.
thankfully, the account said we'll take them and they can work here and we'll train them. So they'll knock their hours out
Super quick.
super quick. They don't even have to do that because they're getting paid while they're doing their hours. Shannon, that kind of
Right.
makes you sick, doesn't it? But
Yeah.
Don't have an evil eye. D, don't encourage that.
Well, that's a blessing. That is truly a
Blessings on
blessing.
blessings, right?
It is. That's a blessing.
Yeah. So one of
Later,
the
what's your shifts like?
And what shift do I work? The morning shift.
Oh, okay. It's 12 hours, 7 to 7. Right. Okay.
no, most
okay.
hospitals. Oh,
Okay. So Donnie asked, "What positive impact has becoming certified had on you?" Same. You guys are the same before and after.
I ain't the same. I'm just hoping to have a lot of money. That's what I'm hoping. They go
well, now,
say.
do you all
I
agree
agree.
or not? Like one of the things when you take the class, and I mean, you feel proud when you become certified,
Yes.
but I think the way your eyes are open to normal everyday life, and now it's like, okay, I'm very conscious of how we're not washing our hands. This will
Right.
happen. All right, when I go in a restaurant, I now look at things differently, or anything, because even this class was it opens your eyes, and then when you actually I think becoming certified only makes you feel like you are now and you have authority
Yeah.
in the field.
Yeah, like people
Okay.
And
ask
then
you, "Are
I
you
think going into
certified?"
be real, like
And you
these people are
say,
nasty.
"Yeah."
What did you say?
You say what, Shannon?
No, it's like whenever you work and people ask you, "Are you certified?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm certified."
Right, right. But does it still shock you how many people are not?
Yeah, I do.
Have been in it for
Wow.
years.
Hmm.
Yes, yes.
Well, I
Go
told
ahead,
D,
D.
I said it made me realize that it made me rethink my dishwasher and about all
Right.
the germs in my dishwasher and my washing machine. It made me think about things totally different. This class did about all the germs that just live in my house. I have two boys, nasty, dirty boys. And so I just, everything was just, I just decided it was all nasty. But the thing I also decided about working in the hospital is this, and I've worked in the hospital a lot of different areas, but if you're going to work in the hospital right now, especially with this COVID thing, this sterile department is the best place to be. You know, if you're going to be in the hospital, you may as well be in the
Yes,
sterile department because if
yes.
you end up with a problem with COVID down there, the whole hospital's in trouble. So I figured this is a good place to be is working in sterilization. So I'm optimistic about that.
That's
But yeah,
good.
it did make me think about things a lot differently on every realm as far as
Yes,
germs.
yes,
So
yes.
That's funny. One of the authors of a past president of Isham. Isham is the certifying. There are two certifying bodies, Isham and CBSPD. But one of the past presidents of Isham, who travels the world teaching sterilization, like from Turkey to Tanzania. That's what she said. When the pandemic hit, she had some of her people coming to her, and they're like, "We need to go home because we don't have the N95s, and what about COVID?" And she's like, "What are you talking about? This is the safest place for you.
Exactly.
We have air
right,
exchange." She's like, "You've been killing HIV, hepatitis." Like, what? What are you saying?
Right,
But
right.
she could say that because she had that expertise. And she's like, "No, hold on. This is." And I just thought that was funny when I first heard her say it, and hearing you say it again. Yeah. Like hearing you say it
yeah,
from a different point. Exactly. When I started working in sterilization, I became very aware of everything. Everything.
hmm
Everything, everything. And when COVID hit, I was like, no, 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 you take it off outside, put it in the washing machine. No, I think in February. February, I ended up taking a trip somewhere with D, and I was going to a hospital in Florida, and I had on a mask and gloves, and people were looking at me like real crazy. I was like, something's going on.
Long before people had on masks and gloves, she
Yeah.
had it on.
Yeah.
And I was like, why do you have that mask on?
Right. And out of the two of us, who may have come up with COVID? I'm just saying. I'm just putting my hand up.
That's true. She
Yeah.
had the mask on and I was broke down in the bed. So
Yeah, I was like, what's going on with you? She's like, what do you mean? I was like, oh, gloved up and masked up. You know what I'm saying? Poking her. Hey, what's going on? No, we're joking and everything, but listen, man, sterilization is such an important and influential and impactful thing. And Karen actually owns SIPS Consults. And so SIPS doesn't just have an education program. They send out managers, technicians. They do a lot of education. I'm able to do some of the leadership things with them. So she said she started out at 408 and retired over 6 figures. And so you really want to just, you do get into it, what you put out of it, but also remember that people's lives are in your hand.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you did what you did, and kudos to that, because a lot of people, especially during this year, they use this year to be like, well, I'm just gonna wait. And they didn't plan. I'm like, Netflix isn't the only person that should enjoy this pandemic. This is a good time. What will you do with it?
Well, I'm canceling Netflix. They going up too much. I'm canceling. They going up too much. They cancel.
Well,
Cancel.
Good. There's some resources you can invest in something else. Invest in something that is giving you something back.
Right.
Shannon, Donnie asked if your certification provided more opportunities for you versus your non-certified counterparts.
Oh, it does, because if I decide to move, like I look at outside job opportunities, and it say certification required compared
Right.
to not having the certification. So yeah, it do.
Yeah. There are some places you can't even work without a certification. And the
Right.
saddest thing, I get calls, people that have done this for 10, 12, 13 years and now need a certification to progress, to go on to the next level. And there recently was a supervisor who can't go any higher because he's never been certified. And he's actually tried to take the test on his own. And let me just say this, and I'll be quiet. I see things on Facebook. I say that I know. Hello.
I know. We all know.
I get comments on Facebook quite a bit. You don't need to take a course to get certified. And that is so true. But it is not easy, because the truth is most people are not disciplined enough to sit down and just read a book without an instructor. And if you don't understand what you're reading, it really makes it hard. So I'm confirming you do not need an instructor to go out and take the certification test. But I'm also confirming about 80% of the people fail that test because it's just the discipline. And I see that all the time. All right.
All right. Let me see. Let me ask this other question. So, D, before I go back and ask something that's transparent of the individuals there, you guys, what was it like having D as an instructor?
Oh my gosh, she's wonderfall.
Oh,
She is absolutely wonderful.
She was awesome. She was awesome.
She is.
She made it.
I'm writing y'all's checks right now.
Yeah. She made it
Could you make that with extra zeros, please?
Yeah. she just took her time with it, but at the same time, she kept it at a decent pace to say, okay, hey, if you didn't get it, we could try to go back over it the following week, but we're not gonna just stay around. But she made it very easy to learn what you needed to learn, and I just hope that what I do Friday gonna all pay off, because I take my certification Friday.
Oh well, good luck. I'm sure you'll do great.
It will. Avery and Shannon, since Chris and Dwalene are about to start this journey, dude, how do you guys how do you guard your heart from the negative Nellies? In every workplace, there's some, and if you don't know who it is, it may be you. Out there, feel free to share this video. If you don't know who the negative Nelly or the messy person is, be quiet.
Look in the mirror.
You. So, how do you keep your eye on the prize?
There's definitely people that you'll find that just complain, or they don't really see the vision. I've always been a person that could ignore that. Like, I can listen to you, but at the end of the day, I know what I'm here for. I know what my goals are. And if I want to move up and make more money, which is what it boils down to, then I got to do what I got to do. So what you're doing is, not helping you move forward. So, hey, you can talk, you could feel that way. I'm not here to change your mind, but I know what I want to do.
All right. That's good. That's good focus. How about you, Shannon?
Yeah, like you said, I just ignore it. I mean, I come in, I know I'm there for the patient. Then you gotta have some people that just always gonna complain about every little thing. People say at work I'm a good listener because I pretty much listen to everybody complain.
Right.
And I just say, okay.
Okay.
I mean, but yeah, I just keep on. I know I'm there for the patient, and I just keep, doing my job.
Excellent. And I wanted to ask that question because, listen, when you go into places, I don't know, this isn't a Christian program, but this isn't a Christian program, but there's a story in this, in a religious book, and it talks about people going into like this promised land. And it always tickles me because the people are really excited about, I'm going into the promised land. But in that promised land, it's like they have to work that land, And so, and everybody who's already in the land, none of them were happy to see the people come into the land.
Right.
And so, sometimes when you're going into places, even as travelers, sometimes, not all the time, there are people who are like, thank you. Yeah, exactly, Mark. I see you. They're for the patient. Mark, I see your other questions too. I think that I'm going to send those questions because I know Luane's not here. I can answer it. Maybe Dee can answer it a little bit. But yeah, you want to be there for the patient. Anyway, you'll be going into places and, there'll be some people who may not be happy to see you, even though they need the help,
Right.
because they may feel like, oh, that's a traveler. They make more money than me. And I just want to encourage you, please don't discuss your pay with anybody.
Please.
They're going to come 6-7 different ways to try to get you to. They'll be like, they just don't want you to because it's them. There's no they against us. We're all a team. But don't discuss your pay with people. Don't do it. Wisdom. I can tell you that the stove is hot, or you can go over there and say, do not touch it, That's wisdom. That's wisdom.
But as travelers, for those of you that are going in, I know Shannon has a steady job in Dallas, Texas. But as travelers, if you think about it, people feel threatened. Are they here to take my job? I've been here for years. How are they coming in? And when you go in as a traveler, the hospitals expect a little more out of you. And so people will be like, let them do it. They're a traveler. So we've seen hospitals where staff will rebel. Shannon, you see that even where you are.
I see it every day.
People will rebel, like we're not helping them. Let them do it. They're the superstars.
And to be fair, they've been doing their best and giving 150%. And then, well, I'm just saying, just to be fair, you want to have an objective view and have grace and mercy. Stay humble, because there are some people who may know more than you, work harder than you, and everything, and they may not make what you make. And that sometimes that's a bitter pill to swallow.
Right.
I remember when I was a supervisor and somebody I knew was sleeping. They were sleeping on the overnight shift, and they gave that person a raise. And that was a friend of mine, and they were like, how about that $1 raise we got? And I just had to hold my breath and say, you know what? I want to be happy for you. So I want you to go back over there, because I didn't get a raise, I'm working twice as hard as that person. And I was never upset with them. Here, Dinah says, how vital is adaptability for each location?
That's like
Chris and Dwayne, you guys may not know this yet, or you know it, but not in sterile processing. Life teaches you that. Avery, how?
I say that's one of the main attributes or characteristics that you have to have as a traveler. Because like I said, everybody will do something different. You know, the basics are there, but people may like things done a different way. So you definitely have to adapt.
Okay. I wish that I had someone who was a manager on, but like I said, Luane's not with us tonight because Michelle asked, what's the best skill you like to see students have coming out of SPT school, coming out of a sterilization school? Was there a skill or something that you, Shannon and Avery, that you all thought maybe, like, man, I wish I would have paid more attention here when you got into the workspace?
I don't know. I can't think of nothing right now.
That's cool.
That's some superstars. That's the superstars. They can't think of nothing. They superstars. It's something. If it's rapping, it's something y'all thought about.
Rapping, yeah, I had trouble with rapping for a while, so that's a good one.
And a lot of it again because you learn the textbooks, and even though we practice rapping, they just did this, Chris and Dwalene, but it's still not the same until you actually get in the hospital and they're timing you because they want you to do it faster. And you know, now it's no longer we can just sit in class and laugh while we rap. Now it's like the pressure is on.
Right. Somebody standing up like, no, that's not right. That's not right.
Right.
Okay.
So
every hospital got their own way that they want to
yes.
run. So.
Yes.
Okay.
So you might have learned something in class, and then you go to a hospital, then it's like, oh no, we wrap it this way.
Right, flap go this way instead of this way, and yeah, it's where you would think is like, let's just get it wrapped as long as it's good, you know, because most people think is what is it, different roads that lead to where you're going, but in that hospital, this is Bible. So we don't care what you learned in your last hospital, you do it this way here. So I get that from students a lot. Like, okay, Ms. D, they like it this way. Then do it the way they're telling you to do. Don't fight the battle.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to take a quick commercial break. When I come back, Dee, I know that you had given me some information in the private chat about you guys have a class coming up. I want to say thank you to SIPS Consults and to CS Assist for sponsoring the show. We've been going strong now, well over 6 months. You know, we started just as being a resource for credible information and an actual real-time discussion, not trying to polish anything, but keeping it as organic as possible and still remaining positive. So I definitely want to thank SIPS Consults and CS Assist for doing that. When we come back from this commercial break, I wanted to ask all of you, were you afraid that you might not find a job? Even though it's a wide open field, and if you just type it in on any browser, you'll see job openings. So I'm going to ask that when we come back. Take this time, breathe a little bit, and yeah, let's take care of a sponsor.
Those in the know SIPS Consults. SIPS Consults is hiring. Confident, competent, and consistent. Starting as a consultant and a volunteer, SIPS has grown into a dynamic group of stellar sterile processing professionals, offering excellent benefits, 401k, and consultant in training program. We are hiring certified technicians, leads, supervisors, interim managers, educators, coordinators. Apply at recruiting@sipsconsults.com or dial 1-866-615-7977.
Okay.
All right, and we're back. So that is the question I have. Michelle says job security is great there in Houston, Texas. Karen says she encourages us not to focus on what someone else isn't doing and stay focused on what we're there to do. Was anyone afraid that they may not find a job?
I was, because we still couldn't get in the hospital to do our clinicals yet. So I was like, okay, hey, this is kind of getting old, what we got to do. And I was like, okay, something got to give. And for me, I know, I just prayed about a lot of things. And like I said, a lot of doors just open up, and that's why I'm here and I'm ready.
Excellent, excellent. Shannon or Chris, were you guys, did you ever have to push that thought away that I may not find a job? Or did you know what, I know what I bring to the table. I will be hired.
Yeah, when I did my clinicals, I'm actually working at the same place I did my clinical set. Like once I started, I was like, okay, I kind of had the attitude that y'all really need me, so I kind of felt like I was, so I kind of felt like I was going to get a job, and everything ended up working out good. So I'm still there today.
And
I was concerned about the pandemic, the COVID virus. I was concerned about that and whether that was going to be a hindrance to being able to go to work in the hospital. But as it turns out, I think that actually has probably been a benefit. I hate to say that because this pandemic is not a benefit to anybody. But I think in this field, I think it's going to be a good opportunity because it's wide open and there's such a demand.
one of the things I do share with individuals in this field when I have the opportunity to help them or to coach or do the leadership training is that mindset shift, just what you said right there. Not glorying in the pandemic at all, but with the pandemic, there were so many opportunities because the pandemic actually exposed a lot of flaws in a lot of systems, from the education system and school, the hospitals, the healthcare system was taxed over. And so like all these things came out like because everything was switching. That meant there were so many more opportunities for people to find, well, just new opportunities or a new way of doing something. And I try to encourage people of that immediately. Even the certification. If you look at commercials over the past 3 to 4 months, commercials now aren't even really what we are offering you. It's saying, hey, listen, this is the type of cleaning and disinfecting we're doing. It's safe to come in here, which goes to your certification. They need people to teach them about those things. And so it was a lot of openings. It is it's not a nice time. It's not. But even in challenging situations, there are people who rise up to the challenge and fill those open gaps. And so I'm glad that y'all did that. I wanted to say kudos. Like I said, this is December, so we're actually just saying kudos to people. So kudos to you, Chris. Kudos to you, Dwalene. Dwalene, I just want you to know, just keep breathing. You don't even have to be nervous about it. I mean, I can't make you not be nervous, but you step in there with good energy and focus on your job, and focus on learning and just doing. Don't worry about what you don't bring to the table. Worry about what you can learn and just do. And you'll be like, oh, okay. Oh, okay. Right. And because you travel to different places as a traveler, that flexibility is real. Let me tell you, it's different in down South Georgia than it is in Seattle, Washington. Get to know people. If you have a stereotype, so anybody, even those of you traveling out there who are listening, feel free to share this video. If you have a stereotype, just put that in your back pocket. You're going to see and meet all different types of people. And if you've been in one city or two cities your whole life, trust me, you don't know everything. You might think you don't know everything, and you don't know everybody. So
but Sharon, I think that's real.
Thank you for no
finger. I think that's whether you're in one location or you're traveling. One of the things that's on the test question is for teamwork, what is the necessary thing? And it comes up attitude, because your attitude makes a difference no matter what your job is. And for me, one of the things, even when I see students coming out of class, I try to be very honest with them. If you go in your first day acting like you can run the show, you won't be there very long. You don't know anything. Sit down and learn. But one of the things I'm most proud of is like the Shannons, the different ones. I think we have I would say about 70% of my classes have been hired where they did their internship. And that is amazing that I have one guy, he was supposed to join us tonight, Ryan. But Ryan actually he's on his 4th week in the hospital, and he signed his paperwork today to go on full time. So this is the statistics we're seeing. And I was just telling my boss today that more and more I'm seeing where people are like, if your students are not coming in here good, we don't want them. So even the hospitals now, where at one time they were just like, we'll train them from the ground up. Now they're like, they better have some kind of knowledge when, when they come in.
Well, and that's another thing too with the pandemic. It's a wide open field, but with this pandemic, a lot of
Yes,
people have been furloughed, lost their jobs. There are a lot of companies that aren't going to come back, restaurants, things that may not be exactly what you need.
right.
And those individuals are looking for places to go and things to learn. And so, D, one of the things I believe with your class is it's 10 weeks. And I was trying to locate the banner so that I could say when the next class was coming. And yeah.
Well, I can say it. And actually, starting January, our classes moved to 12 weeks versus 10, because we're now going to do introduction to instruments, the basics, to putting a basic set together. So they'll have more knowledge when they go in. So our next class, the weekend, we have a weekday and a weekend class. The next weekday class starts January the 4th. The next Saturday class starts January the 9th. The weekday classes tend to be 3 hours, 3 to 3.5 hours, Tuesday and Wednesday. And then that Saturday class is an all-day class. It's 9 to 4. I think Shannon was Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an all-day class. But my goal is, again, when you leave my class, I don't want anybody, and I quote this all the time, you will never leave my class and I didn't tell you that. I didn't tell you that. So don't get in that hospital and try to say, they didn't teach us that. And there will be some things. They're always changing the test. They're always adding things to what you do in the hospital. But you will know how to go in there and talk like you know the sterilizers, you know, some chemicals. So, but like because as you just said, the pandemic, they need people to come in ready to go to work. So if they're having to teach you what a scalpel looks like, we're in trouble.
Right.
All right. Let me ask this last question so that then I'll do another commercial thing. And please reflect on this question. Did the pandemic, this is called the hot seat question. The hot seat question means it's going to, it may take a little more thought. Sometimes it doesn't. Did the pandemic, A, push you forward, B, pause and paralyze you, or 3, place you back in the past? Because sometimes when adversity comes, people be like, man, shoot, I knew I shouldn't even try it. So I wanted to ask you, did it push you forward? Did it paralyze and pause you where you just froze? Or did it place you back in the past, like in a not good way? And why? Why do you think it affected you like that? And why do you think, like, just why? Yeah. D, you can go first.
Oh, I thought you were doing a commercial.
Let me do it, Chris. I'm giving it to D.
I thought we were waiting on the commercial.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay, commercial. Commercial.
Oh, okay.
Commercial. Yay, Sips, and yay, D, for being an awesome instructor. Hey, for those of you out there in the sterilization world, one of the things this pandemic has done, it has really pushed a lot of people, and some of you have started your own business. Within this month of December, that is what we're looking at. We just want to give kudos to individuals who've done a great job, who've been stellar, who've been steadfast, who has, something that about them has been highlighted to you as a positive. Please reach out to us at info@ucdileadership.com, or you can go to the Knowledge or Nonsense Facebook page and send me a private message so that I can reach out to them and give them their due, man. Give them their due. Just help bring more visibility to what they're doing. Maybe they have a course that they're teaching. I know there's some people who teach. I know a few instructors who are on the East Coast teaching. I know there's some here, other ones here in this Texas area. Michelle, I believe, teaches. And so, yeah. So back to that question then. Did it push you guys forward? Did it paralyze you? And if so, for how long? Why? Why did all of it? Or did it put you back in the past? You know, did it, like, how did the pandemic affect you that way?
I'll start. I think for me, if I'm honest, about the first week or two, the pandemic made me come to a complete standstill because I was used to having to go to work in the office, and now they're saying stay home, and I had a rigid schedule. So I knew what to do, when to do, and all of a sudden I'm working from home and I'm sitting in front of the computer and I'm just like, oh, I think Wendy Williams is on right now. Oh,
George Mathis.
and so, I mean, I'm just gonna keep it real. So
Yeah.
I really had to wrestle with, okay, you can't just sit and look at TV all day. You got to come on. Somebody soon is gonna notice you're not turning in any work. So I had literally, I'm sitting in my office right now. I had to just come in my office, go away from the TV, stop, and just start every day jotting down. Today you will complete this, this, this. And I did not get up until it was completed. And I finally got in a routine and in a habit. So now it's a lot easier. I see my boss on here commenting, what?
As the owner of the company is like, what? Yes, whatever you guys say, you know, it's out there. It's out there.
It's out there, y'all. Let's keep it real. So I think that's what it did for me. And then slowly I was like, you know what? I could be learning more about Excel. Or I could be doing this. So even now I'm trying to do cards for the instruments since that's part of our January session. I'm making sure I can do things for the students to help next year. So that's the one thing for me as the instructor. Every class, I'm like, we could improve in this area because our ultimate goal is get people trained and get them working. Y'all don't come to class. I say this all the time just to see this cute face. You come because you want to, I do, I say it all the time. You come because you want a job and you want to get into this career. And so I want to help them go to the next step, the next phase. So that's what the whole pandemic has done for me.
Excellent, excellent. Someone else?
Well, for me, it just
I think for me, go ahead. You go ahead.
It just pushed me
Go ahead,
to
Running.
okay, it's time for a change, and you got to go ahead and figure out what you're gonna do, and things. You just like the girl said earlier, a job that's gonna be here because this is really the new way of life. So you just got to accept it, okay, and say, hey, this is how we're gonna be living for a while.
Right.
So you want to do something that's gonna be productive that
Right.
can be part of the solution. And the solution is meaning that you're doing the process and you're cleaning the instruments and you're making sure when those patients and everybody comes to the hospital that everything is clean and sterile so they don't get those diseases, or you can combat different diseases, because most diseases that you do acquire them while you're in the hospital. So it's just you want to try to be as safe as possible.
Yeah.
You want to be as safe as possible. So that's where it was like, okay, hey, something you could do that's not, like I say, take a long time. But so for me, it was like a push forward. Hey, you're making a good decision, a good investment, and it's always great to invest in yourself.
Right.
Excellent, excellent. So
Yes.
let's push forward. Yes, yes. I love that. I love that. I love that. Woo, a little happy inside. Okay, Chris, what were you?
I was just gonna say, I think initially I wasn't real sure how long to expect it. I think I kind of expected a slow down for a short period of time, but then my company eliminated our department, and we worked in hospitals and nursing homes, and so just by nature of the COVID, it just it shut us down. So then I ended up being unemployed altogether. And I had to just kind of decompress for a little while because I was kind of like Dee. I was used to, going and moving and doing and, in and out of town, a lot of, and so I had to decompress and rethink everything. and readjust to, like I said, Wheel of Fortune and, the Price is Right being on at 10, and let's make a deal at 9. And so, I had to readjust and decompress and let myself just kind of absorb kind of what was beginning to be the new normal. And I needed the break, I think. As much as anything, I needed the time to kind of reevaluate things and figure out, okay, is that going to open back up, or am I really going to have to pursue a different avenue? And when I realized that I needed to, look in a different area, then this kind of opened up. And so, but I did. I had to stop. I had to slow down, and I had to kind of think through the whole process and think about how it was affecting, my life as a whole with my family, my kids, and but it was good for me to slow down. It was good for me to stop and to think and to take time and reevaluate where I'm at and where I wanted to be and where I wanted to go. And again, this, she keeps talking about, it's a blessing, the door open. And I believe that the Lord just opened the doors, for it to work the way that it did. And I just had to be still and just be patient and trust the Lord all along the way in every aspect of it. And, slowing down and just focusing and breathing and just say, okay, Lord, you just show me what I'm supposed to be doing and help me to know the next steps. And it all works out. And I think it was a good time for me to decompress and to grow personally. So, and I'm excited about the new phase. So
I'm excited too. I'm excited too. I love it. I love it. Snap, snap, snap. I love it. I am a fan of growth. I'm a fan of personal growth. I'm a fan of self-reflection. And yeah, it definitely shut me down. Like it shut down for a second. But literally within like 2 to 3 weeks, I was like, oh. And then I was like, oh no. I was like, no, Netflix ain't gonna come up off me. I don't know what's going on, but this gift of time will be used some way to benefit not just me, but my community, my family, everything. Shannon, how about you? Did it push you forward, pause and paralyze, or did it send you running back?
I mean, honestly, with me, outside of maybe April and May, where we were getting like furloughed and stuff, it's been like full blast with me. So it's been like they calling me on my off day, hey, can you come in? So
wow,
I've been pretty much normal outside of maybe like 2 months. So
2 months, you guys are still, yes.
okay,
All right, excellent. Well, I want to just congratulate you guys again. Congratulations on stepping up, regardless of your reasons for why you did it. Congratulations on still doing it. Whether you were laid off or just like, hey, this is crazy, got to do something, or you know what, I think it's time. Whether you were helped along the path or whether you just said, I'm going to do it. I want to say congratulations on doing it. I want to say congratulations on landing paying gigs, even, and staying with it. Shannon, I love everybody's energy, but that demeanor that you have, it will serve you well in still processing. It will, because sometimes those doctors, you may get a phone call and or the nurses, they may come, well, already, I bet they're gonna blame you for some stuff. And you're not going to be able to say, hey, listen, you did,
right,
because the patient's on the table.
Yeah, there is no, do you want to step outside?
Yeah. You have to choose your battle and keep your why. Don't let what's going on in that 2 hour or 8 hour period change your why. So that's all I have. It's been about an hour. Thank you guys so much. I don't know if it was long or short for you. It was short for me. Time always flies when I'm having fun. Dee, I want to thank you. For those of you who are out there listening, Dee, I need you to put in that private chat so that I can have this information on here. I've hinted like 4-7 times.
Go ahead. Just tell me.
Hi, Dee. Will you put the date and the information so that I can share, because
January 4th, call us.
Some of you out there may actually be looking for a field, a viable option and a viable field that you can learn, that you can grow, and that does not, that you don't have student loan debt as if you went to a private university.
Right.
And so if you're interested in that, like she said, there's weekend classes and there are classes throughout the week. We're in the Dallas area, and I'm sure there's an online class as well. So
there will be an online class, though.
Ma'am, focus and just do that thing right there so we can look. And for those of you who don't know, Dee and I go way back. We go way back, way back.
You better get one of those. Can we step outside?
Yes. Yes, Dee and I go way back. And so that's what it's like here on Knowledge and Nonsense. If you know that you want to make a move, if you know that, if you sense that maybe you should investigate different avenues of income, please look at SIPS Consult. SIPS Consult has been a blessing in my life. If it's not for you, it's not for you. That's fine. But go ahead and look into it because it may be the open door that you're looking for, especially if you like healthcare, you want to help patients stay safe, learn about infection control, and you are detail oriented and like working like individually and with the team, then maybe sterile processing is something that's for you. And you can travel with sterile processing. You can travel to different places. People will be glad to see you. Miss Cherry, I can't see her right now, but I'm sure she's cheesing from ear to ear. Very proud of all of you because she started as a technician, and that's one of the things she's always. I love Dee. Dee, I love you. I love you. One of the things Miss Cherry did start as a technician and worked her way up, and so she has always had an affection and an affection, not infection, an affection and a loyalty to the workers, not an infection. Please keep being my sponsor. Okay, so yeah, we're good there. Luane says it's an amazing career. It is. Do you guys have anything you want to say to anyone before any shout outs or no hospital names?
Thanks for let me be on. I appreciate it. Thank you.
No,
thanks for thinking of me, Dee. I appreciate it.
Thanks for you guys coming. It was excellent. And we want people to see, like, I love it. People need, and I'm excited. I'm excited for Dwayne. She don't look as excited as I think she may be. But
you can't go on the facial expressions. But I promise you, I'm truly, truly excited. I'm ready and I'm overjoyed. And I just feel like it's the biggest blessing, but I know it's more coming.
And I have to really give a special thanks to Shannon. I have not talked to Shannon in over a year.
Yeah, it's been
and I called him out of the blue today and said, Shannon, I need somebody who was in one of my first classes because the other ladies are in my newer, more recent classes. And he got on. So thank you so much, Shannon.
Good job.
Thanks, Shannon, for sharing.
Yeah. And I want people to see from beginning to where it could go to, So this is a year down the road for Shannon.
Oh, there's Sharon Green Golden. There's Sharon Green Golden.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hey, Sharon. The job's good.
I would love for you all to come maybe in the spring. Maybe we circle back. And any questions you have there, any updates, if you're up to it, I would love for you guys to come and visit us again here on Knowledge and Nonsense. Maybe you share some of the things that were great knowledge for you and really help you get acclimated and get accustomed to the role. And what some things, maybe some nonsense, maybe some things you did or you saw done and you like, no, that's some foolishness. I wouldn't recommend anyone. And I would love for you to,
I just said tomfoolery.
Yeah, tomfoolery. Yeah, I would love for you to come because that's the way that we give back. We're able to give back to people. Field, even one of the groups that one of the ladies, an educator, Lila Price, this field has thousands and thousands and thousands of people in it. And so what you offer and what you bring, what you share, it's insight and it helps people, it helps people. And so, okay, Dee, I have attempted to let that thing run for a bit. I don't know what this January 4th, and I am going to roast you when this is over. January 4th evening, January 9th, Saturday. This is why we have an assistant, guys.
Simple and to the point. Simple and to the point, right?
All right, thank y'all so much.
Thank you guys so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sharon.
All
All
right.
right,
For
good
those of
night.
you
Thank
feel free
you.
to share this video. And I see Sharon Green Golden, so of course, you know, I'm just going to share this thing about the book. I'll see you guys later. It was very nice meeting you. You all did a great job. Great job. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Good night.
Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you, guys.